Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video where I talk about levels and see whether or not I like them. And today's video topic is about levels that made me cry in a good way. Basically, in this video, I'm gonna be rummaging through levels that has genuinely made me tear up a bit through one way or another. Now, in principle, yes, crying to a jump to that level may seem like an odd thing to a lot of you, but funnily enough, I think that's what makes these levels that I pick so much more special, to me at least. It invoked an emotion that naturally I shouldn't be feeling to a jump to that level. And to make me tear up is not really an easy feat. Not saying I'm prone to it, but like a simple sob story put in a level won't just get me to tear up. It has to have that it factor to really make me feel emotional, as a story isn't just the only factor that can make me cry. In fact, all of these levels I've been mentioning have different reasons to why they make me cry. Once again, these are my opinions, and if you don't agree with them, then more power to you. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's start the video starting with
Hope you can forgive.
Okay, before I start talking about moving forward, to some of you that have been watching me for a while now, you probably thought that this is a weird choice since I have this level in my video about bad level sequels. But truth be told, even if I think a level is a bad sequel or remake to another level, I can still appreciate the level for what it is as it stands by itself. Also, I just want to mention that ever since that video, I may have changed my mind about moving forward as a bad sequel, as I think now it is a pretty good sequel to Glide, but that's for another time. And I know some of you are gonna say, oh, moving forward made him cry because of how bad the gameplay is. No. Truth be told, I haven't been in the level, so I can't judge it on that. But anyways, I put moving forward here because it made me cry due to just how beautiful the level looks and feels. If I had to describe how moving forward feels, is that it feels warm and nostalgic. I mean, we first start with this cube part that just has such a nice and cozy feeling to it due to the fact that we're so high up in the clouds and it feels like we're just floating through the air laying down in this almost fantasy-like environment with how the structures are built and drawn. The colors used here are just phenomenal as well. The use of pink and yellow as the main colors just fits so well with each other and makes the part feel more floaty, if that makes sense. I also just love the decision to make the sky pink colored instead of blue. Like, I know it's supposed to be like dawn, but still, I love the usage of the pink sky. Like, this is genuinely some amazing color theory that's been used here. The part after it did look a bit weird at first with how the colors look, but the more I look at it, the more it looks like those colorful building blocks that we used to play when we were little kids, where some of the blocks can be turned into a train, hence the train that was used in the background. And with that in mind, it made the part a whole lot more nostalgic. The part after it is this like city in the night type of deal, and while that's cool and all, I want to talk about how well Krone does the art in this level. It all looks so simple yet feels so lively at the same time. Like in this part, you'll notice that the houses and the trees in the background are just squares and triangles, like literally. But the way Krone distributes it in the level have so much more character in it. The drop admittedly is the weakest part of the level because it has some repeating effects in the background, but it's not like the worst thing ever, as I do still think it looks pretty good with the colors and such. The city part looks so charming. I love how the buildings are built, and a fun little detail here, the building in the background actually goes with what the lyrics say. Like when the singer says for you, it shows the number 4 and the letter U, and when the singer mentions heart, it shows a building shaped like a heart. Like, it's just the little details in that just makes me appreciate this level more. And the ending part, oh my goodness. This part made me tear up the most purely of how pretty and beautiful it looks. The major use of pink in the background mixed with the rainbow coloring used in the structures just works so well in harmony together. It invoked so much emotion in me just because of how beautiful, pretty, and nostalgic this part looks. And the fact that those structures are those like paper windmills that you used to run around with when you were a kid, and fish kites just makes this part a whole lot more charming. Paired it with the fact that it's on a slow part of the song, just oh my god, it hit me in the feels. I forgot to mention of how good this song choice is. A song about being better for your partner, as well as the fact that this is Krone's final level, just makes this whole level feel more beautiful. I know I say that a lot, but genuinely, such a beautiful level. Yes, I'm not kidding. Falling Up has made me tear up for a good reason. And before you say, oh, Falling Up has made him cry because of how bad the gameplay is, no. I actually really like the gameplay, like, a lot. And yes, that includes the infamous duel. It gets consistent, alright? Just believe me. But anyways, the reason why Falling Up made me tear up is actually a bit more speculative than the others, and it's actually related to a video I made about Kermal levels and how I tried to connect them to make some sort of lore. But basically, I think Falling Up tells an amazing story of a person's life and death, hence the name Falling Up, quite possibly implying that when we die, we don't really rise up or fall down, and instead we fall up, and the way Kamal executes it, whether intentional or not, is amazing and beautiful. It made me tear up just thinking about it. Now granted, the first time I saw this level, I didn't really think much of it. I just thought that this was a cool level made by Kamal, and oh look, a rainbow part. Every GD player loves a rainbow part, but also I was like 9 back then, so my opinions didn't really matter. But the more I look into it later on in life, the more I appreciate the level. I've already told how I interpret Falling Up in another video, so I'm gonna keep it brief. The way I interpret it is like this. You start off in this nice, warm, and cozy part. This represents you being in a dreamlike state where you haven't woken up from your sleep yet. That is until you get to the next part where we're thrown into the real world as we walk to the city in the night, going home from our dead-end job, and all the building lights are turning off since everyone is now home from work. But after the city part, we're hit with an unexpected event where we die just like that. Side note, I do want to say that in between the events of Falling Up, the events of Heartbeat happens, and for a more detailed explanation, I suggest watching my video on the lore of Karma levels. Basically, we just suffered a heart attack. And I believe that the first drop represents our process of going to a place known as heaven, with the use of arrows in the background, representing our process of going up above. And I also believe that the second drop of the level is us looking down in our gloomy world, portrayed with the rain effect that's used in this part. And one thing I need to note that I forgot to mention in my Karma lore video is that I believe that the light that keeps following our player is representing the path to show us where heaven is. And we finally transition to heaven, where we now reside. This part now hits me in such an emotional level so much than when I first saw this. From the way it transitions to just how this part looks, it's just such a perfect part to a level. While it may not seem much to you guys, to me it has such a perfect representation on one's sense of freedom from the cruel world they once lived, and overall, the way Kramal does the story in Falling Up, whether or not intentional, is so beautiful and amazing. It genuinely made me tear up, even if the storytelling is not as direct as something like White Space. And not to mention the song choice for Falling Up is just genuinely beautiful. Even if Time Leaper is such an overused song back then, it's just the perfect song for this level specifically. And the part that was used in the dual part just makes the whole part feel more impactful due to it using arguably the most climactic part of the song. It all just comes together so nicely in the end that I genuinely consider Time Leaper as just the soundtrack to Falling Up, and no other levels that use it. Genuinely beautiful level and storytelling. Oh, would you look at that? I'm talking about in all the levels so I can talk about the visuals without worrying about someone talking about the gameplay. But anyways, roadblocks make me tear up simply because I think it's a genuinely beautiful love letter to the community. But it's not just the fact that it's a mashup of a bunch of iconic levels that made me so emotional, as in fact I want to talk about levels that try and do something similar. Whenever levels try and mash a bunch of levels that we recognize in the level, it can either go two ways. It's either really cool or just kind of feeling a bit like nostalgia bait. An example of a level that does it pretty neatly is Memories 3. Like, I get it's supposed to be a mix of various levels, but I like how they did their own spin on each of the levels, while also keeping a similar decoration as well as similar gameplay. An example of feeling a bit like nostalgia bait is, funnily enough, Idols, Like, I still love the level, and I get the song is a mashup of various nostalgic EDM tracks, but most of the level is glow, but then there's a sudden flash of 1.9 level sprinkled in. Like, I think that's just kind of funny, I don't know. However, Worldbox feels like an ending to Geometry Dash, and I feel like the big reason on why this level works so much for me is because of Subwoofer's ability to put details in together. I've talked about this before, but if there's one creator that I can say is a master of both storytelling and putting attention into the littlest of details, it's Subwoofer. With levels like Espionage and Citadel having so much charm into them purely because of how Subwoofer approaches level making, it just elevates the level a whole lot more. And it's especially prominent here in Worldbox. So combine Subwoofer's ability to put so much into detail and storytelling with basically the GD equivalent of fan service, and you get a genuinely beautiful level that goes through a bit of history with the game. There's so much attention to detail put into the level that explaining them one by one would take a whole separate video to do so. Not only do I like all of the references that were put in the level, but the way its layout is just beautiful. It's basically meant to be cinematic with the way it integrated the black bars from the top and bottom part of the screens, and the names on the side act like actual credits of like a show or a movie. And not to mention the cube from iconic creators following the player, making it feel like an anime ending, further complemented by the song choice. One thing I will say with most of the level that I talk about is that the song choice is a very important factor in this. It all just comes together in one piece so perfectly that it makes me appreciate more about the community that we have today. And it keeps reminding me that GD is an almost 12-year-old game, so there was a lot of lore in the community itself. It just makes me emotional just thinking about it. Like, even with the battle we had in the past and present day, I still love this community, and this level perfectly encapsulates why I love it so much. Alright, this one's gonna be pretty short because the reason is like really weird. This is gonna sound like, again, really weird, but I genuinely think that my song's gameplay is so peak that it legitimately put me into tears. Hear me out. When I first heard about this level in my best and worst level of each demon difficulty video, a bunch of people suggested that I take a look at my song since they claimed that it was one of the most fun Insane Demons that they have ever played. Now at first I didn't really think much of it, as I thought it was just a typical sync level that a lot of GD players call peak. And also the song was made by a VTuber, so there's not a lot of confidence in me to try and beat the level. And then I tried to actually play it, and dog, I can't lie, this is amazing. It's one of the most satisfying gameplay that I have ever played. It flows so well, it sings amazingly, and it exceeded so much of my expectations. My fingers felt like it touched the hand of God for the first time, and every click felt like it was guided by an angel holding my hand. It felt like I played a fun GD level for the first time in my life, and there was nothing else compared to it. Not to mention just how pretty the level looks. Like, it's not the most detailed thing ever, but it has that perfect balance between simple and detailed. And I'll admit, the song kinda bangs, since it actually sounds like the singer actually pours her heart out in the song, unlike other YouTuber music. And yet, this is only my 10th favorite level. And so those are levels that made me cry. Well, that's the end of the video. Did you agree or disagree with my picks? Maybe there's a level that you think deserves to be in this video. I already know what some of you are gonna put, but let me know in the comments below anyways, and maybe I'll put it in a sequel if I ever make one. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, since I'm trying to hit 5k by the end of the year. Oh, and if you want to support me even further, you can buy a commission from me down at VGen, where you can commission a headshot, half body, full body, a banner, or a thumbnail. That's all I have for you today. I'll see you all later. Bye bye.